Picture a Roman legionary marching into battle. Polished, segmented armor, a rectangular shield strapped to one arm, a short sword resting at his hip, and nothing else. It's the image stamped onto movie posters and museum dioramas. A soldier issued a uniform kit by the state, identical to the man marching beside him. That image is almost entirely wrong. The real legionary carried nearly 4 times what the movies show you, and almost none of it came from a government warehouse. That number matters because it explains almost everything about how this army moved, camped, and fought. In 107 BC, the general Gaius Marius restructured the Roman army. His goal was speed, a smaller baggage train moving faster across hostile ground. Before Marius, equipment depended heavily on personal wealth. Poorer recruits carried cheaper, lighter gear than the wealthier citizens beside them. His solution was blunt. Instead of ox carts hauling equipment behind the column, the soldiers would carry it themselves. The men started calling themselves Marius's mules. The nickname stuck because it was accurate.
A fully loaded legionary carried his shield, his javelin, and his sword. On top of that, a marching pack lashed to a pole across one shoulder. That pack held rations for as long as 17 days, a bronze cooking pot for preparing them, a small hand mill for grinding grain into flour on the move, a leather water skin, and a woolen cloak for cold nights. The javelin he carried, the pilum, was engineered with a flaw on purpose. Its iron shank was soft enough to bend on impact, so an enemy couldn't pick it up and throw it back. The shield itself wasn't just a plank with a handle. The scutum was built from layers of curved plywood, glued and covered in leather and canvas. A metal boss at its center could double as a blunt weapon in close combat. Even his sandals were engineered gear, not simple leather shoes. Caligae were open-toed and studded with iron hobnails, built for traction across hundreds of miles of provincial roads. A legion on campaign could cover roughly 20 miles in a single day, fully loaded. And at the end of that march, it didn't stop at whatever spot was convenient. It built a camp from scratch every single night. A ditch, a rampart, and a palisade wall, torn down again the next morning. He also carried tools no one associates with a soldier at all. A delabra, part pickaxe, part shovel, for digging those fortifications. 2 or 3 sharpened wooden stakes, carried to build that palisade himself. Historians estimate total marching weight at somewhere between 45 and 90 pounds, depending on the campaign, the season, and the terrain. And the armor itself was never one uniform design. Segmented plate armor, the kind everyone pictures, was only one option among several. Chainmail and scale armor were worn in the very same units, sometimes for centuries at a time, side by side. Letters recovered from the fort at Vindolanda, in northern Britain, tell an even more personal story. Excavated shoes at the same fort span a striking range of sizes, proof that gear was fitted to the individual soldier, not stamped out identical. Soldiers wrote home asking for socks, for sandals, and for extra underwear, because the army didn't provide everything. Families and personal networks filled the gaps the state left open. One of the fort's most famous letters isn't about supplies at all. It's a birthday party invitation, written by one officer's wife to another. It's often cited as the earliest surviving example of a woman's handwriting in Latin. A separate surviving tablet is a simple care package list, written nearly 2,000 years ago. It could pass for a modern parent's list to a kid away from home.
So, where did the image of the identical, minimally equipped soldier come from? Largely from a single monument, Trajan's Column, a carved stone spiral standing in the heart of Rome. Built to commemorate a war against Dacia in the early 2nd century. The column shows soldiers in segmented armor almost exclusively, because that was the cleanest visual shorthand available to the sculptors. It wasn't a photograph, it was propaganda, designed to present a disciplined, uniform fighting force to the people back home. Centuries later, museum reconstructions leaned on that same column as their primary reference. So did Hollywood costume departments, generations after that. Segmented armor was easier to mass produce for film sets, easier to photograph, and visually cleaner on camera than interlocking iron rings. The myth wasn't built on a lie. It was built on convenience. One artistic choice, repeated for 2,000 years, until it looked like historical fact.
The pattern isn't unique to ancient Rome. Modern infantry loadouts follow almost the exact same curve. A modern combat load can exceed 90 pounds, fully loaded, almost identical to what a legionary carried 2,000 years earlier. The weapons themselves tell a similar story. Standard-issue rifles look identical coming off the production line, but attachments, slings, and small modifications vary from soldier to soldier. Official gear looks identical on a supply manifest, but the pack a soldier actually carries is full of personal additions. Extra socks, a specific brand of boot insert, a photo from home tucked into a helmet liner. War movies still default to the clean, uniform silhouette, because a messy, individualized soldier is harder to read on screen in 2 seconds. The gap between what looks disciplined and what actually gets carried hasn't closed in 2,000 years. It's just moved to a different battlefield.
Every pound of it tells you something about how war actually worked, not how it looked from a distance. The Roman soldier's real kit wasn't a uniform issued by the state. It was 45 to 90 pounds of tools, food, and personal decisions, some of it mailed from home by people who loved him. The clean statue on the column was never the whole story. It was just the version that was easiest to carve.